Let's make your time worthwhile. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on the Free to Pause account because I'm going to talk a little bit about time investment and where some of the best places to invest your time. Now, I'm not going to necessarily judge what's going to be the best per time investment here per se. I mean, that sounds like I just said that's what we're going to do. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about areas of the game where you can invest in that will ultimately prove to help your account more than other areas. Now, not every area of the game is created equal. Some things are going to give you great rewards. Some things are going to give you less great rewards. Sometimes you need to do a few of them anyway. These are things that I find that generally prove to be some of the most rewarding for the in-game improvement of my champions, of my accounts, and overall progression. So let's talk about some of the good things that you can do for your account. First of all, we're going to talk about Arena. Now, I know Arena is a bit of a dirty subject for some people because some people just don't like Arena. And I get it. Arena is not the easiest thing to do. It can be very unfun in some cases. Tag Team Arena is definitely a bit of a slog. So, and to be fair, Tag Team is probably the least rewarding of the three areas of Arena. And honestly, Tag Team needs help. So I'm not going to try to convince you that Tag Team is something that is absolutely amazing. But even in the Tag Team Arena, well, there's, go to the Bazaar here. There's some cool stuff in the Bazaar. Specifically, Drexstar Blood Twin is a good legendary champion. Now, he's not amazing top tier, but he's a good legendary champion. The energy here, well, it's nice free energy. It's not that hard to earn. The Ancient Shard, well, that could be another champion, but an Ancient Shard is an Ancient Shard. It's kind of hard to argue with that. And it's a reasonably priced Ancient Shard, too. The Brews, not too bad sometimes if you need some Brews. I'm a little low on Brews, so I've been picking them up even on the free-to-play. The Rare Skill Tome, I have actually been impressed with how hard it has been to get a Rare Skill Tome. Honestly, this is not the best use. I just happen to have a bunch of extra early gold bars here, so I'm going to buy that, and I bought that this time, but to be fair, I generally wouldn't buy the Rare Skill Tome. Even here, if we get into silver here, the Epic Skill Tome is way overpriced. This Void Shard's not great. The only reason I would buy this Void Shard is if you're not in gold, so you can buy the Sacred Shard and the Legendary Tome. But if you're in gold, the Sacred Shard and the Legendary Tome are worth buying. But, there's a lot of time investment to get here. And do I think you need to dive into this wholeheartedly? No. But, maybe make just a little bit of effort to keep yourself in middle to high bronze. I keep myself in bronze 3 or bronze 4 on my free to play. And honestly, most of the time I don't need to make a lot of effort into my teams. I either pull my defense and run a team and pretty much just run teams, fight a bunch of easy teams, and we'll drop down. And then the next day I will keep them, or next week I should say, I will keep my, gimme teams in there till about Thursday, at which point in time I'll put in a real defense and just kind of fight my way back up. Now, I probably could fight my way into silver. It would be a bit of a struggle, but I could probably do it. I don't see the need where this account is right now. I don't see the benefits of getting into silver, whereas right now in bronze, I'm getting pretty much everything I would need to get. So maybe keep yourself around silver 3, or bronze 3, bronze 4. Once you can get into silver, keeping yourself in silver 1 or 2 is still somewhat usable until you can eventually get into gold. Once you're in gold, yeah, this is decent rewards. It's not great. But what's more rewarding is Classic Arena. Classic Arena gives you these wonderful crests here that let you actually buy your Great Haul up. And your Great Haul is one of the best ways you can power up your account. So do not forget to do these. But the other thing that is very, very helpful in Classic Arena that I think a lot of people forget about is this Magisteel. As you see, you can get 4 to 6 pieces of Magisteel here. And Magisteel lets you forge gear. And the forging of gear is some of the most powerful ways to get great gear for your account. You've got the Guardian set, which, is not the greatest anymore, but it's still a very viable set, especially if you're struggling to farm Fire Knight. Lethal Gear, one of the best sets in the game, honestly. Defiance set, not one I'm particularly happy with, but it's a purchasable set. But honestly, it's found some use because it's been used in some of the solo strategies in the current event dungeon. Slayer is actually a pretty good set that's right behind me. Righteous set's not too bad. Those are the purchasable sets. But even the non-purchasable sets are solid sets and specifically perception here, is absolutely amazing. And you can't forge it without some of the core materials that you can get for farming Classic Arena. Now, if you look here, I've got a ton of it on this account because I do farm a lot of Classic Arena and I don't forge as much as I probably should. Well, or I just don't have enough stuff to forge. Well, I'll fix that. This is CVC. I'm probably going to forge a bunch of my perception gear. It makes sense. But doing the arena means that I have all that Magisteel. It's actually one of the weird things that having finished my clan Great Hall on my main, I don't do arena quite as actively as I used to. And I'm actually almost out of Magisteel. I need to do more, so I've been forcing myself to do more just for the Magisteel. But these Clan Hall, these Great Hall things, Great Hall is a great way to give yourself a bunch of free stats. And if you're building your Great Hall, you want to focus on accuracy or crit damage. And what you probably want to do is you might want to rush one of them to 10 fairly early on for your Arbiter missions, and maybe another few of them for some of the Ramontu missions. But honestly, take a step back, get yourself some core level build up here. So you'll see I've got all these things at level 3 right now. I might eventually start building some of these things to 4 through 6 because that extra HP, that extra defense, and that extra attack, very, very useful when building champions. And it may not seem like enough, but you're talking 6% extra HP on every magic champion, not just the ones you use, not just ones in certain areas, every magic champion, every spirit champion, every force champion, and finally every void champion. That's huge. Yes, the crit damage here seems to be very, very good because the crit damage here is technically a higher number relatively compared to these HP and the attack and defense. And your nukers, well, your nukers really benefit from it. Not everyone else does, but crit damage seems to be one of the better ones overall just for how efficient it is. Accuracy, very good. A lot of champions need accuracy, so having a bit of extra accuracy and 40 extra accuracy is huge on every champion. 80 is even better, and it's some of those minimum levels that make it very easy for people to get past some of the harder stages in places because it's extra stats. So don't forget to do the arena. And again, live arena has a very similar level. Here we have the area bonuses. You actually have ignore defense, which is absolutely huge, and speed, which is absolutely huge here as well. So speed kills, so does ignore defense. Those are the two biggest and best ways to increase your damage, is to go fast, take extra turns, and ignore defense. So gun locking these, very, very big. But on top of that, Live Arena is also giving you a bunch of interesting gear and a bunch of other stuff. Now, I don't want to just take too much on Arena. I've obviously spent a lot of time talking on Arena. Arena is fun, at least in my opinion. Some of you guys don't like it. I would really recommend pushing yourself to do it just a little more often if you've been avoiding it, because the live arena stuff is good. These chests you can get right here, well, they come with legendary books sometimes. They come with some really good gear. And if you don't like the gear, you can sell it and it's extra silver. And you get extra stuff out there as well. Sometimes you get some potions or some oil, you get some chaos dust. You can get some really, really highly useful things from these live arena daily wins. And this is the only way to farm that primal quartz. In fact, you look here, we're talking 17 days into this month. I've earned almost all of my 4 primal shards I can earn from this live arena chest already. Pretty amazing. I talked about crafting a little bit, and what would crafting be without the perception set, which is what you can farm here in Faction War. Now, that's not the sole focus of Faction Wars. Obviously, the focus of Faction Wars is to get Lydia, and as you eventually get on hard, get Polera as well, who looks like an interesting champion that at the moment nobody actually has. But honestly, getting yourself your perception gear, getting your glyphs from Faction Wars, the only place you can get glyphs. They don't sell them anywhere either. Other than I guess they technically do sell a few glyphs, maybe in the Forge Pass. I don't actually remember if they have a couple of them there or not. But even if they do, they're not tons of them, and they're not a lot of the good ones. So you really can't buy a lot of these things. You can't buy a significant amount of them. So doing Faction Wars is a great way to be able to get stats on your account. It's a good way to get good perception gear, which can be the lifeblood of an account for a long time. And You can also get resilience gear, which can be either a silver fine or can actually get you some potentially good gear for some progression for a while as well. Lydia is one of the best champions in the game. Still, how many ever years later, she is one of the best rewards you're going to get in the game. She is still in so many end game teams, it's not funny. And then as you actually get into hard, you actually get some of the relic crafting materials in addition to all of this other really good stuff as well. And relics are a great game changer for your account. So do not slack off on your faction wars. Get those done. Use those keys. Now, one of the areas you'll certainly hear a lot of people talk about is the Demon Lord clan boss. And yes, the Demon Lord clan boss is probably one of the biggest things to get your account into the end game because it is the single best way to get shards, which is the single best way to advance your account. Now, Chimera and Hydra have other good uses as well because they can get you a champion that's unique to them. Hydra gets you Mithrala, who's an amazing champion. Chimera can get you Empress, another amazing champion. Obviously, both are going to take some amount of time and effort to do. Stone Skin is great. Protection is great. Hydra gives you some decent-ish rewards. That said, unlike the Demon Lord, you can invest in the Demon Lord team once. Once you're done, you lock that team in and you never touch it again. It's a great use of some very initial investment. And once you're done investing in Clan Boss, you can stop and just reap the rewards for the rest of your account's life. So it's one of these things that a little bit of early investment pays off in a lot of late game gains. So I think the Demon Lord is definitely one of the best and most rewarding areas of the game. Chimera, Hydra, a little more debatable. You can certainly say those gear sets are great, but early on, you're going to struggle to get the best of those gear sets. Later on, you're going to need to be able to really hit hard to be able to get some of the cool competitive areas of this game mode. So yeah, I don't think those are necessarily some of the best places to go. If you end up skipping a key occasionally, it's not going to kill your account. Demon Lord, you better be doing those Demon Lord keys every day that you can do it. Are you looking for one of the best ways to start a brand new raid account, either just a second one to play a different challenge or something like that, or are you just looking for a brand new one to share raid with your friends or family or anyone else? Or maybe you just thought raid was actually an amazing game and want to give it a try. Well, use my link down below. Get yourself a free legendary Elenarl, an amazing poisoner and burner, brings a ton of damage, brings a ton of utility, will help your account a ton. And once you get out of the tutorial, you'll get her. At level 15 of the account, you will get yourself a Thane, who is an amazing clan boss damage dealer and brings a ton of other debuffs as well as an epic. And finally, at level 30, get yourself a Mausoleum Mage, an amazing supporter who has heals and cleanses and buffs and will bring all kinds of extra cool things to your team. All you need to do is use the link down below. If you're downloading this on an Android or iOS device, just make sure it's a device that has never played Raid before. Download the link and you should be good to go. Just make a new account and you are all set. If you're doing this on PC, all you need to do is you can either uninstall or log out of every account on your Polarium Play, then create a new account online with the link using a brand new email, download and run the installation. It will put your account on your system automatically, and boom, there you go. Finish the tutorial, there's your Elenarl, have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. It's an awesome way to start. It helps support me, it helps support the community, and it's a great way to get into a great game. And finally, these are some of the weird ones here, but Doom Tower and Curse City I'm kind of going to lump together a little bit. Now, there's certainly different aspects of this type of monthly reset content. They are worth investing in on some level. Doom Tower is worth investing in because, again, it is gear you can craft, and very specifically, being able to craft lethal gear is absolutely amazing and can be a game changer for your account. But honestly, crafting any gear can be game changer. At the moment, there's not a lot of great things. I'm farming Magma Dragon on this account because it's the easy one for me to farm, but the stuff you can get from the Scarab doesn't suck horribly. There's a use for the Affinity Breaker that's got some interesting niche cases. The Frost Spider can be an interesting set here and there. Doing these things can be helpful. But again, it's a climb that gives you a much amount of time to climb. So as long as you're just, hitting some of these bosses here and there, it's not too bad. But don't worry too much if you can't hit your daily Doom Tower. It's not going to kill your account. much like some of the other stuff. Iron Twins, on the other hand, I think is one of the most important dungeons in the game right now. And that is because the souls are one of the best ways to improve your champions. Having a high blessing soul gives you not only incredible additional special abilities, but a ton of extra stats. And souls, if you talk about people in Arena, for example, they will talk about endgame gear, they will talk about endgame champions, but you talk about some of the top tier Arena whales or whatever you want to call them, they will tell you that if you don't have a 6-star soul, or at least a 5-star soul on some of the champions you want to use, you are missing out on the ability to build that champion with the stats you need to build them on. You want a nuker? Well, okay, maybe you don't need to go all the way to 6, but you better go to 4 stars where you get that extra crit damage, because if you can't get that extra crit damage, your nuker is going to hit like a wet noodle. It is amazing, just the stats, how big of a difference those make. But also, level 5 and level 6 are where those blessings get absolutely nuts. Particularly 6th level star blessings are absolutely huge and are game changers on accounts. 5-star blessings are also game changers, and they make it easier to get to that 6-star because it's a lot harder to buy from 1 all the way to 6. It's much easier to buy from 5 to 6 or buy from 4 to 5 to 6 because that's the way the currency tends to work. So don't sleep on the Iron Twins. Get that done. Get those souls. I know pulling soul stones feels bad. They need to do something about it. It really does feel bad, but the rewards that you get for the Iron Twins, especially when you get the souls that you're actually looking for, are well worth the grind. And finally, I want to call out the dungeon that I think is the easiest to overlook and is probably the most important in Raid, is the Minotaur dungeon. Why am I saying both of these at the same time? Well, it's a horrible, horrible dungeon that takes an awful lot of energy to finish off a champion in the Minotaur dungeon. So it takes a good chunk of energy. It's around 540 gems worth of energy. So you're talking 13 to 14 refills. And that's a lot of refills and a lot of energy to run in a dungeon where you get a little bit of XP and a little bit of silver and the scrolls. Well, why is it so important? Well, some of those masteries are absolutely huge and absolute game changers. A mastery can add as much as 40% extra damage to a nuker. It can add 20, 30, 40, 50 accuracy to a champion, depending on the situation. It can add an extra turn on a debuff that can make the difference between winning and losing a fight. It can turn all kinds of things. It can turn turn meter into extra turn meter. It can turn all kinds of abilities into better versions of the same ability. There are so many boosts that you can do with masteries that I think masteries are very important. And one of the things that I find that people that are struggling with content in this game, I often find that they have not bothered to do masteries on their account. And that is costing them time, and that is costing them energy, and is costing them a wasted amount of resources because their champions are not as good as they could be. Just to think about it here, it's one of these things with Clan Boss that is actually very, very impressive. The difference between War Master and not War Master, just as in having it or not having a tier 6 blessing or mastery as it is, well, that can be several million damage per champion on your Clan Boss team. So simply getting War Master on all 5 of your champions, that's 5 to 10 million damage on Ultra Nightmare and below. And that's huge, especially if you're struggling to get to 32 million, 35 million, for example, to 2-key Ultra Nightmare, for example, or you're looking to get to that 40 million 1-key on Nightmare. Well, I'm not going to turn down 10 million damage pretty much for free. So, and to be fair, Giant Slayer, I'm lumping that into the same thing as War Master. You could certainly argue which one is better, but for the most part, those two masteries are keystones of having very good and very successful Clan Boss run. You know what's also really good in Clan Boss runs? And we were talking about Iron Twins earlier? Brimstone. Brimstone can bring another 5 to 10 million damage as well, depending on how long you can go in the fight and how consistently you can land it. Brimstone's absolutely amazing. Another reason to have souls on your champion. So, those are areas that really can impact your account. Some of them are things you kind of have to do once over the time. So again, Curse City and Doom Tower, if you don't clear out the lowest of the low stuff, you know, it's fine. But you can get extra Sacred Shards from Doom Tower, so it's certainly worth getting hard if you can actually beat hard. And if you can't beat hard, probably worth working for, because it's going to come around again and again. Same with Curse City. You don't necessarily have to beat everything in Curse City, but if you can beat Amius, you can get yourself a shot at a mythical at least once a month, if not twice a month, with the Remnant Summons. Some good stuff around there. And Arena, I think Arena's rewards are generally fairly underrated, particularly because I don't think people realize that the Magisteel that you use in the Forge is actually something you get from Classic Arena. It's actually kind of silly. So, you know, hey, let me know what you think about this type of video. I think this was kind of an interesting idea to just kind of delve into where I think the rewards are focused in the game, and some of the stuff that I think it really is worthwhile focusing on to make sure that you improve your account. So hit that like button if you like this, hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing. Is there something you think I'm downplaying? Let me know. If there's something you think that I'm overestimating, or I'm saying that's worth more than it probably is, you know, hey, I appreciate that feedback too. I love listening to your feedback. I love hearing about what you guys are looking for in videos. I love the conversation that you guys can have in the comments. Keep it nice, keep it civil. And, you know, I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't care if you think I'm an idiot. You know, as long as you're keeping it nice and civil in the comment, we can have a conversation and we can keep having fun in Raid Shadow Legends. So until the next video, I'm Bront CatHerder.